Hello and welcome to Larry Has Opinions. A couple of people asked me why have I not posted any TBR videos? And the reason is because I don't really do TBRs. Because one, they stress me out. I really have enough things in my life that I have to do or that I impose myself to do. So I really do not need one more to add to that list. And two is because I really do not plan my reading. It's not because I'm not a planner, because in other areas of my life, I tend to plan a fair bit. But when it comes to reading, absolutely not. I think I'm probably what they call a mood reader. So the day when I'm starting a new book, I just go through a list of what I might want to read, and just on the spot, I pick what I want to read there and then. So I can't possibly conceive of pre-planning all my reading for the next month. So here's my MBR, which is a list of books I'm vaguely interested in and that I might be asked reading over an indefinite period of time. So as in my other video, I'm just gonna go by genre. So if you have a short attention span, you can just skip whatever section you're not interested in. I also have to premise that I prefer to know as little as possible when I pick up a new book. So my synopsis or my description of these books might be completely incorrect or completely off the mark, but I hope you don't mind. So let's start from fiction. And the first one I'm going to mention is The Transition Baby. And I think this is something about a transgender person having transitioned and possibly be detransitioning and maybe having a baby. I don't really know. But I've heard a lot of good reviews, and it was longlisted for the Women's Prize, although I know it hasn't been shortlisted, so I wonder if it's definitely that good or not. I don't know. If you read it, please let me know. Okay, the next one is Fight Club. I remember watching the movie maybe 25 years ago, something like that. So I think the big twist I already know. But nevertheless, it came highly recommended by Billy Bonsai, who's another channel that I really enjoy watching. So I don't know, I think I should give it a go. And also, it's pretty short, so why not? And the third one is Kafka on the Shore, or possibly Norwegian Wood. Definitely not both, either or. But I want to read a bit more Murakami. I read the Wind Up Bird Chronicle, I think it's called, a couple of years ago, and I quite enjoyed it, even though it's completely twisted and weird and all sorts of things. So I would like to pick up another Murakami. So again, if you've read any of these, please let me know your thoughts. Okay, moving on to historical fiction. The first one I have is Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel, which is often described as a masterpiece of historical fiction. It's a story of Thomas Cromwell. I quite enjoy historical fiction myself, so if this is as good as they say, I really look forward to it. I always postponed it because I was waiting for the last installment, The Mirror and the Light, to come out, which came out last year, so I really have no excuses now to read it, but we'll see how it goes. Then I have Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. I've been wanting to read something by her, but I've never got around to doing it. And I know there's a sci-fi time travel element to this. So some people might not consider it historical fiction, but I've put in this bucket anyway. But Evie just mentioned one of her books the other day. So I reconsider my priorities and bump this up, and hopefully we can buddy read it together. And then I have The Terror by Dan Simmons. And again, I'm not sure if it's more horror or historical fiction, but I put in this bucket anyway. I know it's something to do with a expedition into the Arctic, probably in the 19th century, I think. And I bought this book years ago, and it's been sitting in my Kindle for a very long time. And then it comes highly recommended by Thomas, one of the guys in my Discord, so I'll try to pick it up when I'm in the right mood. Thrillers. And here I have The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. And this was quite popular, maybe a couple of years ago, I can't remember. And then it sort of went quiet. And I think Netflix have just released their adaptation, so it seems to be coming up again a lot. And I'm kind of curious, and I might be in the mood for a thriller soonish, who knows? So it's definitely one I want to pick up at some point. Then I have Strangers on a Train by Highsmith. And I spoke about the talented Mr. Ripley in one of my recent videos. And I know this is another of her highest rated books, and it's something about two strangers on a train agreeing to murder the other's husband. So I can't remember, but something like that. But it sounded really interesting, and I trust Highsmith as a writer. So again, it's one I might pick up. And then I have Tell No One by Harlan Coben. And this is because I recently watched, I think it was called The Stranger on Netflix, which is after one of his books. I've never read anything by him. And I've also listened to an interview, and he seemed quite a cool guy, I don't know, and I thought I should pick up something by him. And this one is one I've got, so I might read it. I have no idea what it's about though. Okay, sci-fi. And here, my first one I'm going to mention is Wall. I have absolutely no idea whatsoever what it's about, so if you're interested in the synopsis, just go read it somewhere else. But it came highly recommended from a few different places where I've seen this mentioned. And also Steph agreed to buddy read it pretty soonish. So I'm just looking forward to this. It's a trilogy, but we'll see how it goes. And then I have This Is How You Lose the Time War. And I don't know very much about this one either, but I know that it's about lesbians time traveling in space. That sounds amazing. I know the prose is very flowery, which wouldn't necessarily normally be my preference, but it seems like it's worth it. So hopefully I will pick it up at some point. And lastly, for sci-fi, I have Ted Chiang's Stories of Your Life and Others, which I believe is it's a collection of short stories, one of them being Arrival, or the story where the movie Arrival was written from. And I've heard a lot of good things about both this collection of short stories as well as Exhalation. So I haven't read anything by him, and I really look forward to giving it a go. Okay, fantasy. And I have Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. And this keeps coming up in both fantasy channels that I follow, as well as literary fiction channels. So given that very rarely I see books overlapping between these two separate universes, this has to be really good. It's also shortlisted for the Woman's Prize. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. So I will be reading this in June. I actually would like to see if I can put a small group of people to read it together. So if you're interested, please let me know either in the comments or in my Discord. It'd be great to have a small group to read it together. Then I have Malice by John Gwynne. I keep seeing this being mentioned again and again in fantasy channels. I don't know very much about it, but I know it's a multiple POV, pretty epic in scope, sort of similar to A Song of Ice and Fire. And when I heard that, that's all I needed to know. I know some people didn't like it, but it sounds like the reasons why they did not like it, like prose, for instance, not being particularly good, is not necessarily something I would be bothered by. So I hope to give it a go at some point, but it's 4 books and I have commitment issues, so I'm not making any promises. And then I have Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. I only read the First Law trilogy this year and I really enjoyed it. And that's exactly the type of fantasy that I enjoy, where you don't just have the usual stereotypes of good against evil and typically, the good side winning, but it's a lot more nuanced than that. Let's put it that way. You can go watch my review of the First Law if you're interested as well. But Best of Cold is the next installment in the universe. So I really hope to get around to reading this as well, hopefully this year. And that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up and I'll see you the next time.